I'm Annette. Sitting here in my new office, sipping on a glass of champagne, I can't help but reflect on the journey that led me here. It all started with a simple spreadsheet that changed everything. I remember the day vividly. I was sitting at my desk, minding my own business, when I noticed an email from HR. Curious, I opened it and was shocked to find a compensation spreadsheet that was meant for the leadership team only. As I scrolled through the rows, my heart sank. I saw the names of my colleagues, people I had trained and mentored, earning almost 40% more than me, despite my 9 years of hard work and dedication to building the company's financial infrastructure from the ground up. I felt a mixture of anger, frustration, and disbelief. How could this be? I had worked tirelessly, putting in countless hours, solving complex equations, and saving the company millions of dollars. And yet, I was being paid significantly less than my peers. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I closed my laptop and made my way to my manager's office. I didn't bother scheduling a meeting or sending a message. I just needed to confront him right away. When I entered his office, he looked annoyed at the interruption. I placed my laptop in front of him, opened to the spreadsheet, and demanded an explanation. He tried to brush it off, saying that the market had changed since I was hired and that it was company policy for new market entrants. But I wasn't buying it. I had given this company 9 years of my life, and I deserved to be compensated fairly. I demanded a formal compensation review, but he told me it would be denied. We had just completed annual reviews, and I had received my standard 3% increase. That night, I couldn't sleep. I was too angry and frustrated to just let it go. I sat at my kitchen table, with a glass of wine in hand, and began to write. I documented every achievement, every crisis I had averted, and every system I had built. I calculated the exact dollar amount I had saved the company in the previous year alone, and compared it to the adjustment I should have received to bring my salary to market rate. By dawn, I had created a 43-page analysis titled "The Cost of Institutional Memory." It was a comprehensive breakdown of my value to the company, and I knew it was my ticket to getting the recognition and compensation I deserved. I printed the document and had it professionally bound, then dressed in my most expensive outfit and headed to the office. I went straight to the CEO's office and left 3 items on his desk: my resignation letter, an offer letter from a competing firm, and my leather-bound analysis. Then I went back to my desk and continued working as if nothing had happened. A few hours later, I received a call from the CEO. He asked me to come to his office, and when I arrived, I found him, my manager, the HR director, and the COO waiting for me. They had reviewed my document and were impressed by its thoroughness. But they still tried to downplay the issue, saying that there was a misunderstanding about compensation. I wasn't going to let them get away with it. I told them that I had worked here for 9 years, trained 5 people who now earned significantly more than me, and that when I raised the issue, I was told it was company policy. I was simply making a business decision based on the information provided. The CEO asked me what it would take for me to reconsider my resignation. I told him that I needed my salary adjusted to $150,000, retroactive compensation for the past year's disparity as a bonus, and a formal review of compensation practices across the company to address similar inequities. They were shocked by my demands, but I didn't care. I knew my worth, and I wasn't going to settle for anything less. After a long silence, the CEO finally nodded and said they would give me 24 hours to prepare a formal response. As I left the office, I felt a sense of empowerment. For the first time in 9 years, I was standing up for myself and demanding what I deserved. I knew that the road ahead would be challenging, but I was ready for it. Over the next few weeks, I continued to work on my analysis and gather evidence of the company's financial irregularities. I had noticed some suspicious transactions a few months ago, and I had been keeping a close eye on them ever since. I discovered that someone was siphoning company funds through fake vendor accounts, and I had traced the money back to a holding company registered to the chief legal counsel's brother-in-law. I knew that this was a serious issue, and I decided to confront the CEO and the board of directors. I presented them with my findings and demanded that they take action. They were initially skeptical, but after I showed them the evidence, they realized the gravity of the situation. The next few days were a blur. The company hired an outside law firm to conduct an investigation, and the chief legal counsel was fired. The board of directors apologized to me and offered me a new position as the senior director of financial operations, with a significant salary increase and a seat on the executive leadership committee. I accepted their offer, but I also made it clear that I would not tolerate any more injustice or inequality. I implemented a company-wide transparent compensation structure that ensured equal pay for equal work, regardless of when someone was hired. I also established a system for monitoring and reporting financial irregularities to prevent similar issues from happening in the future. Looking back on my journey, I realized that it wasn't just about the money. It was about standing up for myself, demanding what I deserved, and making a difference in the company. I learned that sometimes you have to be your own advocate and that you should never be afraid to speak up for what you believe in. So, if you're watching this and feeling undervalued, overlooked, or taken for granted, remember my story. Remember that knowing your worth isn't selfish. It's necessary. Your institutional knowledge, your dedication, your skills, they all have value. Real, tangible value. And sometimes you have to be the one to calculate that value and present the bill. I hope my story has inspired you to take action and stand up for yourself. If it has, please hit that like button and subscribe. Share in the comments if you've ever had to stand up for your worth. I read every comment and would love to hear your experiences. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, share this video with them. Because in the end, the most powerful thing you can do isn't seeking revenge. It's recognizing your true value and refusing to accept anything less.